Hello and welcome to the Chaston Centre. I'm Karen Chaston, and today, in our special edition of Thursday Always of building a team dynamic workplace, we're going to deep dive into questions, quality questions that I believe leaders should be asking themselves on a daily basis, deep diving in to ensure that they're always utilizing the best practices in all that they do. I have found throughout my life that the quality of your life always comes back to the quality of the questions that you're asking yourself. Mainly because the questions that you're asking, there is always an answer waiting to be revealed. And for every answer that is revealed, there's an action step waiting to be taken. And for every action step that we take, we move ourselves one step closer to our desired goal, to becoming the person who we came here to be. And this is for all areas of your life. But today we're going to concentrate on in the professional space because it's all about creating world-class leaders. And through these questions, there's 18 questions. I know in my earlier, when I set it up, it was only 11 questions, but the inspiration kept coming and we came out with 18 questions. So let's get into it because I know how valuable your time is. But believe me, spending the next half hour with me and just contemplating these questions, I'm sure that one or two will really resonate really strong with you. I'm sure you can understand all of them, but one or two will just grab you and you'll just go, do you know what, that's my gem for the day. That's something that I'm really going to take with and then build on. And then of course you can always come back to this video and have a look again, and you'll find that another couple will inspire you, and you can continue doing that till you've got the whole 18 down pat. So let's get started. Oh no, do I want to go there or do I want to go here? Doesn't really matter, does it? Because you can see who I am. So the Great Resignation is something that most people are aware of at the moment. But what is it that has brought it in, and why is it important for leaders not to just put it aside and brush it off and say, it's not happening in my workplace? Because it may not be happening, but maybe, and more than likely, your people are actually starting to feel why this great resignation is taking place worldwide, and they're starting to ask themselves some questions about, how do I want to work? Where is my time best spent? Time is our most valuable asset, and most people just don't understand that and don't value their time. They put a dollar price on things, but your time is far exceeds any dollar value that you can put onto it. And if you have exchanged your time for a wage, you are probably starting to think, how can I better utilize my time? How can I provide more for my family and for myself? And how can I get more joy and love in my life? Because these are the questions that most of your employees are asking. So that's what I want you to sort of have a quick look at this and then start asking yourself questions so that you can answer your employees' questions without even having to have this verbal conversation with them, because through your change practices, through you answering these 18 questions, you'll be amazed at how easily you can build that team dynamic workplace. So what are some of the questions your employees are asking? They're asking, do I have a say? Like, am I valued? Is my voice heard? I really want to have a say. I have a lot to say. I have a lot of money saving ideas, but no one is opening their door or opening and coming up to me and asking me my opinion. I also don't have a choice. It's their way or no way. And it's like, well, no, we live in a world of infinite possibilities. So why is there only one choice? Why is there an infinite number of ways of doing things? Because that's the way the universe is designed. My time. They don't value my time. I have to work in their set hours. Why can't I work in my set hours? I'll still achieve more in a shorter amount of time, but I have to be there 8 hours. But I only really work for 6, and I'm just filling in time. Why can't I do my job in that allotted amount of time, which is shorter, and then I can go off and do other things in those other times. As long as the work is done, does it really matter on the actual time spent there? Also, they want to be able to see my fingerprint on the design of what is happening in this company. I love this company, I value it, but there are none of my fingerprints on any design. And if they asked me and allowed me to share my innovative ideas with them, they would see, wow, that works so much easier. It is cost effective. It is revenue generating. And I'm so grateful that I took the time to ask so you could see your fingerprint on the design. And there's another little bonus: when employees can see their fingerprint in the design, they will run with it. They will champion it. They will make sure that it is working as it was designed because they were part of the design, as opposed to bringing it down and saying things like, if only they had asked me, I would have told them that would have worked, and making sure that it doesn't because you didn't ask them. And of course, innovation. We live in an innovative world, and it's so amazing, all the little things that have sparked from someone's idea. All you got to do is look at your phone here. How innovative was that? And everyone was like, you mean I'm going to be able to take photos and talk to someone and store this and do all these different things and be on the internet all in one little device? Imagine saying that in the 80s or the 90s. Everyone would have gone, you're crazy. But of course, we all know innovation is the number one priority in all companies, because we all have employees who have very many innovative ideas. Just ask. And of course, always looking for that better way. And that's what employees are frustrated. And that's why they're saying, I want to be able to have my say. And they're willing to walk. And that's what the great resignation is all about: people wanting their say. It's that simple. So today we're going to deep dive into, as I said, 18 questions for every leader to inspire themselves. So what sort of leader are you? Have you ever sat back and thought, I'm this leader, or I'm that leader, or how can I be a better leader? Right. Are you average? Are you an average leader? What is an average leader? They raise the bars on themselves. Now, I'm pretty sure if you're a leader, if you have raised the bar a little bit, you've gone from being an employee to a leader. Okay, sure, you may not be the CEO or the chairman of the board, but you've raised your bar to become where you are. But it doesn't stop at just raising your bar, because let's face it, you can all get ourselves to here, but here we are sort of like choking ourselves. We're like, oh my God, how am I going to do it? So how do we get to raise ourselves above that so that we feel inspired and we know that we're bringing people along with us? And a good leader does just that. They raise the bars for others. They get that helping hand and they help people up. And it's really important that whether you're a male or a female leader, that you make sure that you assist others to raise their bar as well. And you do that through being a good leader. But we want world-class leaders, don't we? We always want to be world-class, because let's face it, world-class at top of the game. They're sitting on the world and they're knowing exactly how they got there. They understand how the people around them assist them daily to stay there. And of course, they know that there is a continual improvement every single day. They don't just get there, back there and sit back and put their legs up and go, I'm here, we can relax. No, they're continually ensuring that they are world class. It's just like Michael Jordan used to say when he was number one. He would say, when you're number one, you train like you're number two. And that's what world class leaders always do. They train like they're number two. And they do. To be a world-class leader, they inspire others to raise their own bar. Now, let's think about that for a moment. Isn't that amazing? I raised my bar and I got here. And I could help others to raise their bar, but are they really going to run with it? Are they going to really feel their sense of achievement, or are they always going to be locked in with you? As long as you're around, I can raise my bar. But once you leave, what am I going to do? I haven't got anyone else raising my bar, so I'm just going to go back. No, they inspire others to raise their own bar, and they give them a sense, a wholeness. not just from a professional space. They give it in all areas of their life. And in the Chasten Model Center, there are 9 areas of life that we love to deep dive into. And that's what world-class leaders know. They know that they have to have their whole wellness wheel, the whole 9 areas of their life rolling along smoothly. Otherwise, they won't even be able to raise a bar for themselves, let alone inspiring others to raise their bar. So how do they do it? They do it through asking questions. So let's deep dive into these 18 questions, which start off with, are you consistently feeling good about yourself and believe in your abilities? You know, imposter syndrome, no matter where you are, no matter what level you're at, it's a real thing. And sometimes we just look back and we go, I don't think I'm really that great, and I don't really know if I'm here. There may only be a fleeting moment, or it may only be just before we do something that we haven't done before, you know, when we just get out of that comfort zone and we think, oh, I don't think I'm that good. But it is about believing in yourself and knowing about your abilities and knowing that you are world class at everything that you do. Number 2, are you consistently assisting others to feel good about themselves and believe in their abilities? See, it's that world-class thing, inspiring others to raise their own bar. You do it for yourself and then you do it for others so that they can then see, wow, look at the way they are leading. That's my inspiration. I can get there. And we consistently assist others to get there through their own practices, through understanding their beliefs, from knowing their beliefs. Do you understand that people will always remember the way that you make them feel or made them feel? Now, so important, right? We can say anything we want to do, but it's the way we make people feel. So when we make people feel inferior, that they're not capable, that they're dumb, that they're, you know, that they're in the wrong job and they shouldn't be here, it's disempowering, and it's just not a great place. It creates a workplace of disease, and there's no other word for it. And once you start to have a little bit of disease in the workplace, it spreads and spreads and spreads out to everyone. And you know, it's really important that when you look at Gallup surveys on employee engagement, you can clearly see that with 85% of most employees' workplaces, they're disengaged, only 15% are engaged. You can see that the rot has started to settle in and the disease is spreading out. But when you start, it's one simple thing: start to make your employees feel valued and respected and loved and appreciated, and just watch how that just really does. It's the best medicine that you can give to any workplace. And it's such a simple dose that you can give on a daily basis. It's about understanding that people are, you know, it's about understanding what happened to you as opposed to what's wrong with you. You know, you can always look at people from that different lens. What happened to you to make you like this? As opposed to what's wrong with you? You know, it's just a quick little perspective change, and we start to value people on such a better way when we actually understand this. And it's so beautiful. The next one is, are you listening to all okay, I've just noticed that I'm not streaming to one of my things, but that's okay. I know I'm streaming somewhere else. So are you listening to all your employees' innovative ideas? So let's think about this. Are you listening to them? Are you even asking them, let alone listening? Because they all have innovative ideas. It's like I said, them seeing that fingerprint on the design of the pattern. Have you actually asked your employees, is there a better way of doing this? Have you thought of a different way? Do you have a better idea for us to see? I don't know. The next one is, are you sharing your stories, assisting others to make positive change? You know, we've all had a journey of ups and downs to become the person we are today. And when we share our stories, we inspire others to go, wow, If they overcame that, I can easily overcome my little things. They have gone through so much more. And look at them. Look how inspiring they are. Look how passionate they are. Look how committed they are. Whereas a lot of people, if they had gone through those same ups and downs that this person had gone through, they may be, lying in the fetal position, in bed, not able to get out because of all the trauma that has happened in their lives. So it's through sharing our stories that we really do assist others to know that whatever is going on in their life, they can move beyond it. And that's what our life is all about. Our next question is, are you creating an environment where everyone always feels valued, respected, and appreciated? As I said, this is such an easy change that can create your team in dynamic environment really, really easily. And the reason it is because our number one survival pattern, our number one survival requirement is that we all want to feel valued, respected, appreciated, part of the team, part of the community. And that assists us to thrive. It gets us out of survival because we all want to be part of the community. And it's so easy for us to do. So I highly recommend that you take the time to actually do this. It's so easy. And of course, are you always learning and growing, open to ideas? Just because we're here, we're going to learn to the end of our days. We are in a world that is constantly changing. And what we learnt yesterday may not be relevant tomorrow. And it's important for us to know that and always be open to new ideas. As I said, who would have said, sure, you can have your camera and your phone and your internet and everything all on one little device and take it everywhere with you and be entertained and speak to people and text to people and do all those sort of things. Everyone would have gone, you're crazy, never going to happen. But of course it is. So always be open to new ideas. Are you always asking, is there a better way? That was one of my most valued, I feel, tool in every single job that I had. I was always asking, there has to be a better way. What's the better way? What's the better way? What's the better way? I guess I get bored really easily. So there was something that was really challenging me and I just couldn't, I hated doing it. I would always go, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. What is that better way? I'm telling you right now, all of your employees are sitting there going, I hate this task. I can't do this task. It may not be their whole job. It may be one task that they've just got to do once a month and it takes a day and they just hate it. And they're always like, I've got to find a better way. I've got to find a better way. And then, of course, it's about you ask your employees, is there that one task that really brings you down, that you've got to drag yourself out of bed just to do that task? Whereas every other day, you're really, really happy. Sure, you feel great after you've finished it, but the thought of it is always looming. Oh my God, it's getting closer to me having to do that task. Ask, because you'll be amazed at how easy that will create your team dynamic workplace. Are you being generous with your time, wisdom, and praise? Think about it. Time is our limited resource, but sometimes are we best utilizing our time? Are we being generous with our time for ourselves as much as for others? Are we sharing our wisdom? Or are we keeping it all to ourselves? Because if I share all of my wisdom, they may not need me anymore. They may not value me. I can tell you right now, the more you share your wisdom, the more people will be around because you've got that, that continual improvement focus. So your wisdom is just going to grow and grow and grow. So of course, they are always going to value you and your wisdom and your praise. It takes nothing to just give that little bit of encouragement, to praise others for what they've done, to clearly state, it was because of so-and-so's work that we achieved this. It's because of the team that we did this. It's because we came together and we understand and value how important our team dynamic is. Is assisting others to grow and develop a key part of your leadership strategy. So often we look at our team and we look at them as an expense. We don't see them as our assets, because what do we do with assets? We invest in them. We make sure they're always in tip-top working condition. We make sure that they always have the latest things, that they can utilize. And that's what we need to do with our employees. We need to value them and grow them and develop them and invest in them. Because I can tell you right now, the more you invest in your employees, the easier not only will your life be, but what will also happen is they will then value and grow and develop your customers. And that will be a continual thing, and your customers will be able to feel what they're feeling when they are being served, because they are the number one champion for your company, because they are valued and they are developed, and they know that they will continually be that way. It's such an easy strategy. Do you ask your team for their opinions, innovative ideas, and better ways? So important. And this sort of is a thread that's gone through most of these questions. It's all about you valuing your team so much and realizing that they have ideas, they have money saving ideas, they are very innovative, but they just haven't been asked, and they know better ways. They probably have a list of different revenue streams that you can introduce, a list of cost saving ideas that you can introduce, but no one asks them because their opinion hasn't been valued or respected. Believe me, start asking your teams. Are you continually learning from the best? We are always, as I said, we're going to continually learn and grow. But are you going to the best people, or are you just using the old, staid, this is the way we've always done it, so why would we change? And not actually going, wow, this is really different. This is really creative. Maybe we do have something to learn. And it's really important that we all understand that in a lot of areas and a lot of knowledge, we do have a lack, a lack of a lack of intelligence. We just haven't invested in knowing what the better way to do things. It doesn't make us an idiot. It doesn't, make us ignorant. But what does ignorant mean? It means a lack of knowledge and understanding. So we do in some way have an ignorance when it comes to certain things, but it is about learning so that we're not ignorant, and through learning, we can then grow and find that better way. And we're always lifting that game. We're always lifting through what we do. We inspire others to lift their game as well. And we're not dragging them along with us. We're inspiring them to lift their own bar. Do you know your purpose and meaning for everything you do? It's so easy for us to just continually do something because we've always done it that way. But when we sit back and go, what is the purpose of doing this? Is it meaningful? Is it really required anymore? But when we deep dive into everything we do and we know the purpose and we know the meaning and we know the possible outcome, that's when we go, right, this is why I do this. This is the purpose behind doing this. But by asking yourself that question, you'll find that you will free up your time so much, because there will be a lot of things that you're doing that they're out of date. You don't need to do them anymore. Or maybe someone else is doing them in your organization as well, because the teams have stopped talking to each other. And, there may be people, I'm pretty sure there are procedures that are being duplicated by 2 or 3 people, especially in a big organization, not realizing that Sally Jane does that. We can just, grab that from Sally Jane instead of us sitting there and doing exactly the same thing. How much time is that going to save? How much team building is that going to create? Because then they can start to see the interconnectivity of all that we do. Oh, I love that word, interconnectivity of all that we do. Amazing, isn't it? And then, of course, do you see mistakes as opportunities to learn and grow? There are no such things as mistakes. It's a mistake. And that's all it is it's a mistake. We took the wrong direction, but there's always an opportunity to learn and grow what we did. Deep diving into our mistakes, ensuring why that happened, and then seeing that better way to ensure that it doesn't happen again. Are you being resilient, easily bouncing back? Now, there's a lack of loss intelligence, right? And you know, if you've seen me before, you know that I am a life coach who specializes in assisting people to move beyond loss and to create their better everyday life. Now, resilience is a learned skill, right? It's our lack of loss intelligence that makes us to go down and stops us from bouncing back. And really, I shouldn't have said bouncing back. I should have said bouncing forward, because we're never going to go back. It's about going forward and realizing that when you know what to do, you know, when you don't have that ignorance, when you have that understanding and you know what to do, you can always be resilient. And that's why I love to help people to understand how to move beyond any kind of loss, because loss is a part of our life. We're all going to have multiple major losses throughout our lives. But when we know what to do, we become resilient and we know how to bounce forward and we know how to easily assist others to move through whatever they're going through in their life so they don't get stuck. And then, of course, our workplace, no matter what is going on in the workplace, we know how to bounce forward. And this is a very important part of leadership. Are you busting through your fears, seeing them for what they are? Because let's face it, we all have fears, and the fear is the fear of the unknown. But when we are educated and when we know what this fear is relating to, we can then devise a strategy so that we can move forward. It's that simple. We can see them. They're just our comfort zone going, whoa, let's hold back here. We've never gone there. We don't know what's happening there. But of course, when we start to venture there and start to walk there, we realize that 99.9% of the time, our fears are unfounded. So see them for what they are. Are you taking responsibility or are you blaming others? You know, so many leaders take all the credit when it's good and blame others when it's bad. You take both. You're the leader of a team. It's that simple. So take responsibility for all that you do, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the sad, the whole lot of it. But don't blame others, because when you are that inspirational leader, always knowing that the team are together and it's a team effort, that's how you inspire others to lift their own bar. So what sort of leader are you? Looking at those questions, I'm probably say at the moment you're an average leader, but that's okay. Maybe possibly in a good, but I'm pretty sure you won't be a world-class leader. But you can through answering those questions. And that's what I love to assist people to do. And you know, we like to help to create world-class leaders. And we do this from working with leaders, but more importantly, from working with your team. Because when your team has that whole world-class leader focus in all areas of their life, wow, just imagine that team dynamic workplace that will create. Because we are all human beings and we all have our natural, we all have these innate abilities of wanting to survive. But that's our number one. We want to all thrive, and we all thrive through being part of the community, from being valued and respected, and for being understood for who we are. And also being recognized that who we are today doesn't mean that's who we're going to be tomorrow. All we require is some education and a better way of doing things, a better way of looking at things. And that's what makes a really difference. So you want more profit in your company, it will always come down to these 6 things: your people, the clarity that you provide to all of your people, the collaborative innovation that you provide to them all, the effectiveness that they all know they can be, the passion that they can all bring to the workplace every single day. And that will create the vitality, which in turn will give you the profit that you all desire. We love to say that together we can create your team dynamic workplace. Give us your worst employee and we guarantee that they'll become one of your best or they'll resign. And isn't that a win-win for all? So thank you for being here and thank you for listening. Look at that, right on 30 minutes. That's pretty cool. And as always, I'll be here on Monday to create your better everyday life after any kind of loss. And every Thursday, create your team dynamic workplace. I'm Karen Chaston, and I would like to thank you all for being here. And let me just see if I can get myself back here. I don't know if I can. It's always an interesting little thing bringing all these buttons together, isn't it? So thank you for being here. As always, make your life meaningful, memorable, and magical. I'll see you soon.